Hi, my name is Laura and I am here to do our teen summer reading program this year. This first video is going to be about Shrinky Dinks, but we'll have different videos every week for 9 weeks so that you can try something new every week this summer. Make sure that you sign up for summer reading through our website, avondalelibrary.org, and make sure that you log your books so that you can get prizes, including a free book. So join me while we make and create our very own Shrinky Dink designs. Okay, so to get started with our Shrinky Dinks, there are a few other things that you might want to have in order to make this project easier. One is a hole punch, so you'll need the hole punch if you want to make something like a keychain or earrings or something like that that would hook onto something else. You will not be able to punch it once it is already baked. So make sure to remember to do that if that's what you want to do. The next thing is going to be some scissors so that you can cut out your design if you would like. You would also need, or that would really help, is a permanent marker like this one. If you have lots of different colors in permanent marker, you can use those too. But today we're going to be using this Sharpie and some colored pencils. If you want to attach yours to something like the pin back that we have inside your bag, make sure that you also have something like super glue or a different kind of glue that will keep them, that will, connect them together. You'll also need an oven. So keep in mind when you're all finished with this that you will have to put it in the oven in order to get it to work properly. But you can also use a toaster oven. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to unpack our little bag and see what's inside. So you'll make sure that you're going to look through your bag and see the Shrinky Dinks bag. So we're going to take that out. I'm going to dump this a little bit because there's probably something in there. Oh, there it is, it fell. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to have is colored pencils, a set of 12 colored pencils. These are yours to keep, but you can always keep them around so you can use them for other projects. There's going to be 2 key rings that you can attach your item to if you would like to make a key ring out of it. Just be aware they are kind of fragile, so they will break if you're too rough with them. You can also use this as like a keychain or a zipper pull or something like that. These are the little rings that you're going to use to attach them to the bottom of this keychain. So if you want to do that, try to also have a little pair of pliers that you can use so that you can close the little ring together. It's kind of hard to do on your own. And so you've got 2 of those. There's also a pin back here. So this is going to be a, kind of hard to take apart, but this is going to be your pin back in case you want to make a pin out of whatever you made. You'll just glue it to the back. So I've added a couple of designs for you guys, but obviously you are not limited to this. You can make whatever kind of design you like, and I'll give you some different options for that. So we made these little book alpaca guys, and so I'm gonna make one of these today. I'm probably gonna make this guy. These look really big right now, but they are gonna shrink down into a much smaller size. You also have instructions, so if you didn't get around to working on this before, you've got some instructions. There's a little bit of an error there. You only have 1 pin back on this. But you do have 2 keychains. So this has everything that you're gonna need in order to get this done and make your Shrinky Dinks. So the first thing that I'm gonna do, oh, and then you also have 2 pieces of film. I think you guys will have 3, but that's okay because we're just gonna show 1 today. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. There's also, you could also tape this down so that it doesn't slide around while you're trying to trace over this. But I'm not going to do that, but you are free to do so. So I'm just gonna trace this entire design. You don't have to draw the words in. I just did on this one, but I didn't do it on the other one. All right, so I've got 2 different llamas here. Now what we can do is draw on them or color them in. So this is going to be the fun part. This is the part where you get to sort of express yourself. The other option is that if you want to use the other side of this paper and you want to draw something, you can do that too, or you can draw directly on here, but I recommend drawing something first so that you know what exactly it's going to look like. So let's say that I want to draw a heart. My heart's a little lopsided, so I can sort of fix that. It doesn't matter. And so now I've got my heart finished. And then, let's see, is there anything interesting I can put in here? I'll put books, since, you know, this is summer reading. So, and this is a library program, so I'll go ahead and do books. So I'm gonna go ahead and trace over this. I don't think I have room on my, nope. I'm going to trace over this drawing, and you want to be kind of careful to conserve your space since you don't have a lot of it. If you want to do several different designs, it'll be better to sort of like have your space really planned out so that you don't run out of room. So I'm still going to trace around this with my black marker. And then I'm gonna write books. And actually I'm gonna go ahead and put heart books, exclamation point. All right, so now it's a little bit more interesting than just books. So I'm gonna go ahead and start coloring this stuff. I really like these llamas just because I'm a huge Emperor's New Groove fan. And so if you want to watch Emperor's New Groove while you color in these really cool llamas, feel free. I think that would be a good plan. So I'm going to go ahead and color these. You may not be able to see the color really well. That's why if you're gonna do this, I would recommend doing, ooh, that doesn't look like it's really coloring at all. Okay, so that didn't stick very well on there. But so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some Sharpies that I already had and color that in a little bit. I'm gonna do a purple llama over here. The color looks kind of light, but it will get a little bit darker as you color. And again, if you miss any little spots, it's not gonna hurt. Just try not to go over the black. You can also use crayons to color this in. That should be fine too. So after I finish with this, I am gonna go, I'll go and get some sandpaper so that we can sort of rough it up a little bit. That will help the colored pencils be able to get on there really good. So if you get this, if you're watching this and you've already picked it up and you don't have any sandpaper, you can just come into the library and let us know, and we'll get you a piece or get you some. If you don't have any at home, you can always check at home too. Usually moms or dads have some sandpaper floating around, but I forgot that was part of this. We all make mistakes, right? do the other one. I'm gonna do this one in like a teal color. So you can buy Shrinky Dinks stuff at any store usually, like craft stores or from Amazon. I got ours from Amazon. And then you can just do the same thing I'm doing here. Usually they come in like, okay, I guess I'm going for orange. You can cut them into pieces if you want, or you can use up the whole sheet. Let's color our little llama. This one's a little harder to color because it has rough edges. So we are doing a little contest this year. If you participate in one of our programs and you send us a picture so that we can kind of see everybody's projects, because doing this virtually like this, we don't always get to see what everybody makes, which is usually my favorite part of this whole process and doing summer readings. So if you take a picture of whatever you make and send it to us, then you'll be entered into a drawing, and we'll call that drawing at some point. I'm not entirely sure when, but keep an eye on our Facebook because it'll probably be through there. So keep that in mind as you are drawing this, that it needs to be obviously library appropriate so that we can show it off to everybody. I'm gonna do a little fluffy hair over here. If you wanted to keep that black really pristine, you could always just do it on the back so that your black doesn't get kind of mushed together. So over here I have my heart, so I'm gonna color this in now. Actually, I'm gonna wait and do that. So now I'm gonna cut out my super cool llamas. So the first thing I'm gonna do is decide if I want to cut them out close around the edges or if I just want to do something really square. So with this guy over here, I might kind of cut around the edges, but not very close, because it's gonna be kind of hard to do all those little lines. So I'm just gonna kind of cut it this way. Okay, so this one I've got so that it's kind of cut around the edges, but not super close. This one over here, I'm gonna do a little closer. So in order to make it a little bit stronger, I'm just gonna cut off that part and not cut out that little middle part. Because like I said, it is a little bit fragile. So if you wanna make something like a keychain or something, you probably wanna leave or have it as big as possible without a lot of sides sticking out of it. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here and just leave these legs together to give it a little bit more stability. So let's say I was looking at this and decided I wanted to put a hole in this because I'm going to make a keychain or a zipper pull out of it. So I'm gonna go to my hole punch. This is actually a little apple, so if it looks a little different, that's probably why. Oops. I'm actually gonna do it in the little white part so that it doesn't take away from our design. Make sure that it's far enough away from the edge that it won't be an issue that way. All right, so you can kind of see there that I've got the little hole punched. and that way we will have something to hang it when we finish up and get there. Okay, so now we are back, and I did get some sandpaper, so each of you can get a little piece of sandpaper. I have our I Love books that I made earlier, so that I don't scrape off all of the Sharpie that was on there from earlier. I'm actually gonna flip it right over, and I'm just gonna do a little sanding on the back to make it roughed up a little bit. This is a pretty fine grit, so it's not, we shouldn't leave too many, but you can kind of see now that it looks like it's got kind of all scruffed up on the back. So I'm gonna go ahead and color this in. You can see it's sticking to it a lot better now. We don't have to worry about any of the lines since we're doing it on the back rather than front. I'm gonna leave the little heart and maybe do something else with that. Let's make the heart pink. Okay. So now we can see that on the other side that blue shows, or the pink shows through and the red shows through. You can do this with your llamas too. You can just flip it over and color on the back. So I'm going to cut this one out. Okay, so now we have all three of our pieces to put into the oven to shrink up our Shrinky Dinks. So now I'm gonna grab some aluminum foil, any kind will work. I'm just gonna open up this box. I'm gonna make my own little tray. Now I can sort of rearrange this a little bit and put all of my pieces on there. So I have my hole that's inside my llama, but I'm gonna go ahead and put one in my heart too. So let me grab the hole punch again. So I have my hole punch. And I'm gonna put it right in the middle, but this one I'm gonna put like right there. You can kind of see a little bit where I'm gonna put it. Punch that out. All right, I got a little hole in there. And now I'm going to turn on my toaster oven so that we can heat it up a little bit. Okay, so we have our toaster oven. I am going to turn it to 325 and then turn it on. And then I am going to give it a couple of minutes to get all warmed up. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put our items in on our little makeshift plate or tinfoil tray in there. I'm gonna move them so that they're not touching, but be careful with there because it is gonna be really hot. So I'm gonna close the door, and then they should start to heat up, and they will start to shrink up like immediately, and they will get kind of curly. So if they get curly, you don't have to worry about it. They will flatten back out pretty quickly. So, and actually it looks like they are already done. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this off. I'm gonna open this, and I'm gonna use this to pull it out real quick. quick. You would be better off using like a something else that you have that would pull those out like that. Close that back up. All right, so now you can see that we have, they may need to be flattened out just a little bit. Okay, so now you can sort of see that we have all of our little tiny little guys all done. Okay, so now that we have our 3 little guys over here, we can do what we want to with them. So you can make that little pin back like we talked about. When they're still hot, if you have a spatula, you might want to take it and sort of flatten these out, because that might make them a little flatter for you. I'm gonna put these on a piece of paper so you can see them a little bit better. Okay, so I think for this one I'm gonna go ahead and put the pin back on it so that I can wear it around. So actually you do have 2 pin backs in here, and one of them must not, you might have to shake the bag a little bit since it's a paper bag. So I have a little pin back here. I'm gonna take it off just in case. So you can use super glue, hot glue, whatever kind of glue you need. Just make sure that if you need to, you have adult supervision, because I don't want anybody to get sticking their hands together or anything. So I'm just gonna add a little bit on here, and then I'll just put the back on, and then I'm just gonna hold it for a second while that dries. I'm gonna set that there. And then, so for these, I don't have a pair of pliers on me, so I'm just gonna show you what it would look like. So for these, what you'll do is you'll just put one end, let me show you the books one end through this little hole. You might need another, you might have to have that set of pliers. I might not be able to show you right now. Oh, there we go. So I've got that on there, and then if I want to do this keychain, I can just put that keychain on there and then sort of clip that back together so that when I'm playing with it later, I'll have a full keychain, or a zipper pull, so I can use this on my zipper. So yeah, anything like this, you can do your own design. Just remember that anything you do kind of big is gonna end up very small. So we remember how big that piece was, where it was, oh yeah, you can see the original. So, do that one. So you can see the difference. It's a huge difference. So make sure you remember that when you are making your own design. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, you can always call the library and they can get a hold of me and let me know. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next week, and I hope you enjoy making your own Shrinky Dinks. Thanks!